We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with you two.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How did not get sushi after Monday Night Raw?
Welcome to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, a show where a rotating cast of wrestling fans from around the world come and share and debate their opinions, with live comments from all of you shown throughout, as after all, fans are what makes wrestling so special. So sit back, grab a beverage and enjoy the show. This was the most filler episode of Monday Night Raw this year so far. But is that necessarily a bad thing? In TV shows, pretty much all TV shows, we know there has to be filler episodes because not every single episode can advance a story in a huge way. Those filler episodes can help the story, help build characters, meaning the big episodes will then feel even more important. I mean, if any of you guys have watched Breaking Bad, Fly. That episode was one of the most controversial episodes in the history of TV, yet so many people loved it, and it did help to advance the story. But was last night's episode of Monday Night Raw that, or was it just complete and utter filler? We will be talking about the good, the bad, and all of it, because good evening, wrestling fans. I am Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, and I've got a great panel with me today to break down last night's show. We firstly have the man who loves wrestling and loves Disney and decided to combine the two to become the Disney's tribal chief, and even Paul Heyman acknowledged you, Jordy, didn't he?
He did, yeah, that did happen. Yeah, and it took me a while to actually see that. It was a good couple of months after I posted that initial video, and then I saw myself. I was just on my feed and I saw myself on Paul Heyman's profile, and I was like, "Hey,
that is awesome.
That's me." But yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Monday Night Raw, and the tribal chief wasn't there, so this is why I'm here. Right, I'm here to just fill in when he's taking his vacation days. I think you were a bit mean about calling it a filler episode, and
really.
Fly is one of my favorite Breaking Bad episodes. So
maybe that's why then.
Maybe that is why.
Also joining us today, we have Lawrence. How are you, Lawrence?
What's going on, man? Excited to be here. Another great opportunity, great show, Monday Night Raw, the flagship show. Excited to break this thing down. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, and let's jump headfirst into this first topic because Raw kicked off last night and AJ Lee returned. And in my opinion, this was the best segment of the show. I mean, first things first, the fact that she just returned with CM Punk backstage was random, but that reaction that Becky Lynch gave us, that was gold. It was brilliant. I laughed out loud at 8 a.m. this morning when I saw this. But they went down to the ring. Becky Lynch, she's honestly incredible right now. She's doing the best work of her career because she's annoying, but at the same time, you can't stop watching her. So she's doing her job as a heel to perfection. And it is now official. AJ Lee, Becky Lynch confirmed for the Elimination Chamber. I mean, Jordy, I want to get your thoughts out of the gate. What did you think about this opening segment?
This is why I don't necessarily think. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm in a complex now about whether it was filler or not, because I think that it did a great job of advancing storylines, and there was a lot of good beats in there which pretty much agrees with what you were saying. I guess that it's building to something, and I'm a story guy. Like, I love wrestling, but like, I love the stories behind it. So a lot of advancements here. AJ coming back, yeah, and this is it. It was great TV. You know what I mean? Like, seeing AJ and then seeing Becky and Becky's like response to it. It's something straight off a TV show. It's great. I love it. And yeah, we're getting the big match. I'm very excited. I feel like AJ gets a bit of stick right now online, saying that she maybe isn't quite as good as she used to be. Well, I mean, yep, that's what happens when you don't do the thing for X amount of years. Like, she's not really had a great opportunity when she's been back to kind of flex her muscles. I like to think that in the time that she has been away, she has been getting in the ring a bit, doing a little bit of training. And Becky, like you said, Becky is she's the greatest, I think. Like, not just not just me saying it, but not just in the ring, outside the ring, everything she does, she's so great. Like you said, she's a heel right now. She's annoying, but I can't help but want her to be in the program. And she always delivers in the ring. I think back to like the match she had, the program that she had with Tiffy, the program that she had with Lyra, the program that she had with even Trish Stratus, and the payoff matches that we got there. Becky's so good at getting the best out of people. I've got no doubt that she's going to do that, and we'll get a great match between AJ and Becky.
I really hope you are right, and I think you're right as well, because like I said, Becky has been on an incredible run as of late, but both me and you like this segment. Some people in the comments did not, because Numero 1 Superfly says he did not like the opening segment. It felt sudden, and personally, Becky went a little bit overboard, and it felt kind of forced to him, and he has no idea why Adam Pearce didn't make the match official on TV. I agree with that last sentence. That was weird they didn't confirm it until it went off the air, but that kind of is Becky's character. She's trying to be over the top. She's kind of, and to be fair, let's be real about it. We know it's a fact that this gimmick is heavily based on the President of the United States, Donald Trump. And you can say the same thing when he talks sometimes, right? That it does feel a little bit forced, if you want to use that word, but that really is how he speaks. So I don't necessarily think that's a fair criticism to Becky. I think it does fit the character well. But Lawrence, I want to get your thoughts. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought that this was the perfect setup for Elimination Chamber. Where's Elimination Chamber at? Chicago, right? It makes sense. You book both CM Punk and AJ Lee. You know, if you're a booker, you want to book a show, you're looking to sell tickets and boost your road to WrestleMania. You already are building your Elimination Chamber matches, right? Men's and a women's side. But, you know, you're going back to the All-State Arena. What's the way that you can pack out the All-State Arena? By having not only the husband, CM Punk, the best in the world, take on Finn Balor, but also AJ Lee take on the man, right? Becky Lynch, the best in the game, right? The best there is, the best there was, probably the best there ever will be, right? When you think about everything that she's been able to do, everyone she's worked with, when she's gotten the best out of everyone, right? Becky Lynch has gotten the best, right? When we've taken a look at Bianca Belair, when we've taken a look, right, at Rhea Ripley, when we've seen all of these greats who have been in the ring with her, and she's elevated this division, right? And now you're looking to sell tickets. Now, as far as the outcome of the match, we'll get there when it's time. But as far as moving tickets, moving units, what's best for business, right? Triple H's words, right? What's best for business? You book CM Punk and Finn Balor. You give Chicago exactly what they want. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. That's a Chicago match right there. I wouldn't even be surprised if it turns into a Chicago street fight. Maybe I'm just plugging there, but that's my thoughts.
I mean, I would love to see that. Now, the other question and the other part of this, which I want to ask you both, and I'll start with you, Lawrence, is why is this match happening at Elimination Chamber? Surely this is a WrestleMania match. Surely that's written all over it.
Yeah, I also think part of me, even though it is happening in Chicago, that's one piece, right? Bringing, you know, looking to move units. I also think that there is a play where Becky probably retains the title at Elimination Chamber as a spoiler, right? Because you're probably not going to have both CM Punk and AJ Lee win. CM Punk is definitely going to beat Finn Balor. There's no question of my mind, right?
Yeah.
That's just, you know, we talked about filler. That match is a filler match, right? Before you get to the big boy match. Now, as far as Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, I could see them doing something to where Becky Lynch somehow retains, and now AJ Lee's chasing after vengeance, and then you run it back at WrestleMania. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, and that would make a lot of sense. Now, the only part of that which would not make sense is the fact that obviously AJ Lee hasn't had a win in over a decade because she hasn't had a singles match in over a decade. So if she loses her first opportunity, I'm not sure, even if there's cheating involved, that there's enough justification for her to just automatically get a rematch at WrestleMania. Now, one thing that Travis is saying in the comments here is it could be a DQ, and I don't like DQs on pay-per-views, but you could be right there. You really could be, because suddenly that does give some justification for maybe a street fight or something like that at WrestleMania, and maybe that is when you do give AJ Lee the title. The question just kind of is how often is she going to be on TV? Will she be there enough to hold the IC title, the Workman's title? I mean, could you see that, Jordy?
Oh, you got me just as I
Sorry.
was having a sip.
Sorry,
Hey,
my bad on that
don't
one.
you worry. No, right. So, I think it's Fernando Zayas in the comments. I think they're onto something. I think
Triple threat.
Natty is starting to get woven into this story because Becky eliminated Natty from the Rumble. Then obviously AJ went and saved Maxine last night, which obviously kind of Natty's in the picture there.
Yeah.
I would, you know what? It's in triple threat. Could it even be a fatal four-way with Maxine in there as well, or is it a tag match at Mania with Becky and Natalia versus? Exactly. I think you do that the other way
I'm
around,
less keen
right?
on that.
You would do that at the Chamber, surely. But why are Natty and Becky friends? So it has to be.
That's what I don't like. That's what the tag
Yeah.
idea. I don't like it purely because of this new Natty gimmick. I don't think she should be teaming with this Becky Lynch gimmick.
No.
Yes, they're both heels, but that's where the similarities end.
I think that triple threat match would also bang. By the way, I think it would be a great match. Yeah, I just wonder where Maxine falls in that if we do a triple threat. So I don't know, but I think they're involved.
Yeah, I think it just depends on like you said, the availability of AJ Lee, right? If she's going to now be able to come, I mean, even if it's for her short stint, if she agrees to come on TV more regular, winning the IC championship, then I think they may put the IC championship on her, and they'll have some program for her. But I also, like I said, I pointed it out in the beginning of my statement. I think that this is about booking. You know, WWE's in this you want to book shows, right? How you sell tickets and you move units. You put AJ Lee on the card, right? Even if someone may have been in front of her for a title shot, you know, hey, you're going to have to wait your turn. We have to book this show. We're going to book this show. We bring CM Punk, right, back home. We bring AJ Lee, right? Even though she's not from Chicago, right? Even though people keep saying she's from Chicago, she's not necessarily from Chicago, right? You know, that's the piece that you want to really sell to people. Like I listened to Michael Cole last night. Like they really want to sell that piece. And I think it makes for a great show. And it's going to move some units. You know, this is the first time that they're at the All-State Arena in a while. It's been many years since they've had a show. This had a pay-per-view at the All-State Arena like this. So, you know, this is definitely something they want to move units. So, yeah.
And I'm certain it will get a huge reaction as well at the show. I'm going to quickly throw something out there, right?
Go for it.
What if, and I don't think this is going to happen, but what if Becky Lynch defeats AJ Lee at Elimination Chamber and then Liv Morgan chooses Jade Cargill and it's Becky Lynch versus Stephanie Vaquette and Becky Lynch becomes a double champion again at WrestleMania? I don't think they'll do it, but I think they should do it because Becky Lynch right now is on the run of her career. She's the most relevant person in this women's division right now. I think she deserves it. I really, really do.
Did you just have amnesia and forget that Rhea Ripley exists for a minute there?
Yeah, I think Rhea and Io are going to be going for those tag belts, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
they're going to be defending.
I still think Rhea's probably the most relevant woman in the women's division right now.
Right, okay. I don't, because I think the Io Sky tag teams hurt her stocks ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. They'll be back.
I know what you mean. I think it's done something good because I think we were getting a little bit of a fear of Rhea becoming a Brock Lesnar like character within the women's division, where it was just like we all love her, but it's boring. She can't just win every time, and I feel like as much as they are winning as tag teams, and
sometimes I hate that piece too. You know what I mean? It's like why, you know, that's one thing where it's like people tend to feel like I hate the fact that Rhea and EO had to go to the tag division because people felt like they were on top too much, right? Because to me, they're two of the best workers in the company, right? EO
Easily.
Sky can sell a match with anybody. You know what I mean? Rhea Ripley, even though she was dominant, right? You never demoted Brock Lesnar to the tag division. And I think, Ben, we spoke on this last time. If you don't have some, not to say that them being in the tag division hasn't been productive, but sometimes we put people in certain positions that they probably shouldn't been, where Rhea's really the big draw, right? If there's a platform, for example, even with Becky Lynch, like I think it's good that she takes her hiatuses, right? I know she has a young child, right, with Seth Rollins, but it's really good to see her take her hiatuses when they don't have anything really productive for her to do. It's good to see her go away, then come back versus being around or we're just going to put you in the tag division. And I think that's, super important to make mention to is like this women's elimination chamber is shaping up to be really big. And, there's obviously, I know a lot of people want Bianca Belair, but it doesn't even look like Bianca Belair is going to be in this chamber match. It doesn't look like she's.
I wanted her in the Rumble, bro, and here we are. So.
Yeah, she didn't
I don't know. I still have hope. I still think Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair is the actual direction for WrestleMania.
I think that is
they
the
haven't
Mania
set
match.
Anything else up.
Yeah, I do, and you don't have to, because we know the backstory of that. They don't have to build a great deal for us to get there and care about it. I care about it already, so I agree. I hope it's there. I totally agree, Lawrence. One thing that I will give credit to WWE on, I've been quite critical of WWE recently, but I will give them credit for this, is the transition of EO and Rhea into the tag division. It did feel organic. It didn't feel necessarily forced. It did feel organic because of the whole Kabuki Warriors. Rhea's had enough of Asuka, and it did kind of come together nicely. It didn't feel like here's two big names that we know can draw. Put them together. They're a tag team now. So I will give them credit for that.
I've said it time and time again, but it does remind me of Rey Mysterio and Batista. It just does. Yeah. I know it's a random shout, but
they probably know
guys.
that. Yeah.
But up next, let's talk about Finn Balor, shall we? Because CM Punk versus Finn Balor is official for the World Heavyweight Championship at the Elimination Chamber, and I think this match is one big mistake. I think after that CM Punk match, after the match in Ireland, they had the perfect opportunity to keep Finn Balor as a face. He had the most momentum he's had since 2016. They should have had the Judgment Day turn on him the second Dom was back after the Royal Rumble. They should have done the entire Judgment Day turn last week. The fact they've kept it going and they turned Finn Balor heel once again meant that when Dominic undoubtedly does turn on him, and I think it will be in the next couple of months or so anyway, I think it will be less effective compared to if they did it a few weeks ago when he had all the fans on his side. I think it was an unnecessary step, and at this point, I think they've made a mistake. But Jordy, I want to find out, do you agree with me on this one?
I do. I absolutely do. I was so annoyed when Finn came and interrupted the AJ and Punk match with a coup de grace. Because even that episode, I felt I'm so ready to cheer for Finn again. He's right in everything he was saying as well, and it's why we should be cheering him, not why we should be booing him, because I'm sick of him being an afterthought. He is so good. He's such a good wrestler. He's so good in the ring. He never really puts a foot wrong in the ring, out the ring, in a promo. He's just so good at everything, and it's one of them things that I think he's almost so good at everything that he's played against him. He's been consistently booked for years now, right? With the Judgment Day and stuff like that. And I just want more for him. He was challenging for the world title. He was doing this shtick, essentially. This whole speech that he did last night about he deserves better. That was against Seth in Money in the Bank in 2023. It's the same thing. And he played it well then in a way that people booed him, but I want to cheer him, and it's getting me not annoyed in a way as like Becky. I'm annoyed at the booking. Do you know what I mean? There's a big difference. I'm not annoyed at the character here. I'm annoyed at the booking. because I totally agree. They had such an opportunity there to turn him face, to turn him against the Judgment Day, to do so much, and they've just fluffed it. And do you know who else is floating around doing nothing really right now? Damian Priest. Like, I'm ready. Chuck them together as a tag team. I'll cheer them again. Like, I don't know, just something. There's opportunities there, and I feel as a heel, as the Finn Balor that we've seen for the past 12 months, I feel the opportunities are limited. It's like, all right, the Judgment Day, there's a fracas. Like, Finn's trying to pull the strings. I'm just I've had enough of that. I'm ready to just cheer the talent that is Finn Balor.
Absolutely, I could not agree more, and the comments are pretty much agreeing as well. This person is saying that Balor will take the strap off Dom at Mania. I hope so. I really do, and it would be fitting, as he technically did take it from Finn at WrestleMania 41, a moment they never really touched upon, they never really explained. I mean, there was no real justification at all. I mean, we've got DCX Warlord saying that he does not want to see Finn in the mid card, and that's fair. He does deserve a world championship, but I do think now he has been in the lower mid card and he has failed for so long. You need to give him a big reign with a mid-card championship to actually make him believable again. And obviously, time isn't on his side. And I do think it is going to need to be in 2026 or 2027 if you are going to give him the big one once again. But I do think first he needs to do something with the IC title. And we saw it with Jey Uso. We saw it with, well, we haven't seen it with Braun Breaker, but I'm sure we will see it with Braun Breaker. We saw it with Gunther, where Triple H likes to give people the IC title, then the world.
There's no way that he's not looking at Ciampa as well right now, and the reception that he's got over on the other side. And this is all respect to Tommaso Ciampa. I love Tommaso Ciampa, but he's not a name like Finn Balor. If they treat Tommaso Ciampa and bring him in and make him a star like that, they could send Finn right to the top instantly. And I just, WWE need to know that, like, that's what they've got. If they're prepared to lose it, I don't know, because I don't know how many more times that we can do I'm overshadowed, I'm overlooked, that I could have beat Roman, I should have been champion, I got injured, because, like, I don't know.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that Finn Balor should have jumped to AEW at the end of his last contract. From a purely booking and creative perspective, this is right. Obviously, I say financial. AEW are actually offering big stars like Finn Balor higher deals than WWE are at this point. So even then, but honestly, his booking has been so incredibly bad since he was in that world title picture with Seth Rollins, a couple of years ago now, and nothing's happened since then.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
The booking has been horrible since I was a senior in high school. Let's just put that into perspective. I'm 26 now. So that was 10 years ago, almost 10 years, right? That's how bad the booking with Finn Balor is. When he tore his shoulder and he won the Universal Championship against Seth Rollins in SummerSlam 2016, that was, obviously SummerSlam 2016. Just think about that. We're about to head to SummerSlam 2026, right? He has never held a world championship since then. Just put that in perspective. It's been 10 years. He has not touched a world title. He may have had matches, but he's not even held. We're talking about Finn Balor, who, just to put this, and I'll leave this here, CM Punk is my favorite wrestler ever, but Finn Balor is my second favorite wrestler ever. Wow. Right? Second favorite ever. So when I see these two feuding, I'm just like, I love Finn Balor. He's my second favorite wrestler ever because of everything that he's given. And it's just a disgrace, man. Not to say that. It's just, once again, the programming that they give him. And the last thing I'll say is, you're 100% right. I'm not even an AEW guy, and I think everyone here knows that. But I would love it. I would tune in to AEW every week if Finn Balor was on AEW.
That's the two guys right now that don't really watch AEW too much that have said that, by the way. So that's, I mean, that says it all, because it's like I want Finn to be booked well, and I just worry that, however, and I think this is it's horrible booking, and I completely agree. And I think the reason it's so horrible and has lasted so long is because it's mediocre booking. It's nothing that you can
you're
really
right.
hate. He's relevant. He's still there. And so they've always got that argument of like, oh, he's getting booked. Stop arguing. He's earning money. He's earning a living. But like, it's never been really, really, really bad. It's just been mediocre for a decade. And that is when you sit back and look at the big picture and you say, he had this, he got injured, he lost it, and he's not had that since. It's like, wow, what? I would be so annoyed if I was him.
They have wasted his career a little bit. But anyway, let's move on to the next one now, because I think, honestly, we could all do a video essay on this topic because it is fascinating and something we'll definitely have to talk about at a later date, because the comments are agreeing as well. Was 14 when he was last relevant, 23 now, same as, I mean, to be fair, I'm 23 now. He was relevant when we were 16, because that was when he, no, it wasn't. What am I saying? No, it wasn't. You're right. 14. Flipping heck. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. DCX Warlord saying let him go to TNA. I mean, I don't know what there is for him to do in TNA. I don't know what there is for anybody to do in TNA, to be honest. Great viewership this week, though. But up next, guys, let's talk about Natty and Maxine, because it ended in a quick DQ, Lawrence. And I'm going to be honest, I was a bit baffled by this, because this was Natty's first match with this new gimmick. I thought it was going to be a dominant performance, and she kind of looked a little bit weak before the DQ. And I do have a theory, and Jordy kind of referenced it earlier, but before I get onto that, I want to get your thoughts to see if we're on the same wavelength with it. Why do you think this happened?
Yeah, I think Natty looked a bit tired last night. You know, right when she got thrown out the ring and she she put Maxine into the steel steps, she just looked a little bit winded. Like she just didn't have I don't know if she was just a bit tired. She didn't have the gas to go last night. But that's what I picked up, was just that she looked a bit tired. And I would say that this match probably more than likely ended in a DQ to potentially set up. I'm also kind of with I'm also kind of with the rest of the team here, and thinking that we are going to potentially see maybe a fatal 4-way out of the Intercontinental Championship, right? Between Natty, AJ Lee, also you throw in Becky Lynch, and then you have Maxine Dupree. I also do think that we are going to potentially maybe see that match. So that's my thoughts on it, ending pretty quickly. And then at the same time, Natty's new gimmick, I think they also want to push that too, as well as push Maxine. Obviously, Maxine has got her title opportunity, but that's just my thought. I think it's just, going back to the point of this episode being not really a filler one, but this was one that's going to push things along, but it's not going to give you everything you wanted. If you heard the fans last night when the Punk and the Balor match got set, it was like a little bit of disappointment. They thought they were going to get in Cleveland, but no. Just even with the Natty and Maxine, you're not going to get the decisive. Usually February is the month on the road to WrestleMania where it leaves you with those cliffhangers. And then you start really tuning in March more, because March is where you start to build the story more. So I look at this month worth of shows right now with WWE as building towards the main event of, the main event, which is going to be WrestleMania as a whole. So those are just my thoughts. You got a long way to get to WrestleMania, so you can't give everything all in 1 week. Otherwise, you're going to run out of content.
You are bang on right there. And I mean, a few comments are touching on it. You touched upon it as well. And Jordy touched upon it earlier on in the show. I do think this is going to be Natalya, Maxine, AJ Lee, and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. I think that's why this match ended the way it did. I don't think we are going to get a clear result in any of the singles matches between Natty and Maxine before WrestleMania, because I think they want them to both look strong heading into that IC title match. It's a way to get all four of them on the card, because they all do deserve to be there after the year they've had. But I still just think Becky versus AJ Lee is the WrestleMania match. But at the same time, we know AJ Lee is a generous person, and maybe that's a factor here. Maybe she's saying, look, I've just came back to the company. I shouldn't get a singles match at WrestleMania. I don't want that, but I'll do it as long as you get Natty and also Maxine in the mix as well. That does seem a little bit possible there. We got Faram saying the same thing as well. Travis saying they don't want to completely bury Maxine champion after pushing her for months. And numero one, interesting suggestion here, a ladder match, throwing in Ivy Nyland, maybe Raquel Rodriguez. Would you like to see that, Lawrence?
Oh man, I would love to see that. That'd be. It brings me back to WrestleMania. What was that? Was that WrestleMania 24? Childhood. Wow, 40. I'm switching the numbers around. WrestleMania 24, Money in the Bank ladder match. I believe that was CM Punk. Right. That was when one of my first moments. CM Punk won. I love ladder matches at WrestleMania. Give us a ladder match. Give us. Do you call this the biggest show of the year? I mean, give us a ladder match. When was the last time we had a ladder match? You know what I mean?
If I had to choose, though, I would have Sol Ruka and Roxanne in there rather than Ivy and Raquel.
Yeah. I mean, if we get a ladder match out of that, I think that'd be. It's like we only get ladder matches when Money in the Bank comes around. We don't get our TLC matches at the end of December like we used to. You remember CM Punk and the Shield, right?
Yeah.
Came out, ended up, Randy Orton winning a ladder match against John Cena.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we need those ladder matches.
Cody and KO was the last one I remember being that was really, really good, and it made me want them, and it made me want more of them. It could just even be a 4-way ladder match, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be 6. It could just be the 4 of them in a ladder match. I don't know why last night though. This is one thing that, like, from a booking perspective, I couldn't get my head around. If you're gonna have a DQ finish, just have Maxine not tap out, but Natalya not let go of a hold like a choke or something. Do you know what I mean? Have her fully disqualify herself that way, where it's like the ref's counting her, going, stop it, let go, one where she's got the ropes and she just won't let go of her. So he has to ring the bell and they have to bring people down to split them. That kind of DQ is why I was like, why
way more sense.
Why didn't we do that?
Also, why was it actually a DQ? Because we got a commentary saying double count out. It officially was a DQ, which is the most confusing part about all of this. It's listed as a DQ.
Yeah,
and that's what weird. I don't know. We got Phantom's Place in the comments. Shout out to you. Also, guys, very quickly for me, if you are watching on whatever platform you're watching on, please like, subscribe, anything you guys can do, because it really, really does help us out, and also share it with friends as well. I believe we've been raided. Wrestling Take, shout out, Cam. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys joining us for our main segment of the day, because we need to talk, guys, about the Masked Man, because we saw him a few weeks ago cost Bron Breakker at the Royal Rumble. Bron Breakker is now injured. Last night, he costs Austin Theory and helps LA Knight. Some people thought it was Theory. Well, it clearly isn't. Other people thought it was Logan Paul. It clearly isn't Logan either, because he was also there. So at this point in time, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, who on earth could it be, Lawrence?
Now we're getting into the weed of things, right? Who is this masked person? And it also, Bron Breakker is injured now. The question that I have is, was this masked person decide before his injury? Because obviously we know that he's going to be on the shelf. Different people saying 6 months, some people saying 12 weeks. With Bron Breakker's genes, Bron Breakker may be back in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? So, superhuman himself, right? He could be back in 6. But now it leaves the question, obviously, let's say Bron Breakker is off the WrestleMania card. Let's say at this point in time, Bron Breakker's off. And remember the point that I just made, February is the month about giving you a little, and then March things start to get exposed. I would not be surprised by the end of this month or by the first episode of March that we figure out who this masked person is. Maybe even at Elimination Chamber, right? Just depending on how the card shapes up. I still think we have to check the matches, but could we potentially get Bronson Reed, the big fella, in the Elimination Chamber match? There still may be a shot for him, right? So there may be an opportunity there for the masked man to potentially reappear. And also we'll be watching here on Monday Night Raw. There's a chance that this could end up being Jake Paul. Just my thoughts. I've seen the rumors. There could be a chance that this could be Jake Paul. That's my thoughts. Could be Jake Paul.
I mean, I think it's a very good shout, and I spoke about this earlier on Good Morning Wrestling Fans as well, and we got a couple of comments saying the same thing as well. We got Brandon123 underscore 12 saying the exact same thing as well. Here's my issue with Jake Paul. What would be the end game? The end game presumably would be Jake Paul and Logan Paul against Austin Theory and Bronson Reed at WrestleMania. I don't think the crowd would cheer for either of them. And I think if the crowd were to cheer for anyone, it would be Bronson Reed and Austin Theory, who, I mean, I can only presume they don't want to be cheered because when Seth does come back and whenever Bron Breakker comes back as well, I mean, I'd have to presume, Bron's going to be the heel. Surely he's the one who kicked him out. So I don't know if I buy into that as a face versus heel dynamic because it's two heel teams.
Yeah, I think it's also the piece of when you look at Logan Paul, right? I've always, and I've said this since the moment we saw Logan Paul appear, I've never bought that he's been in with this vision. I just haven't bought that Logan Paul's been all the way in. Logan Paul is a master manipulator. And so he could be playing, he's running after, it might not be him in a mask right now, but he knows, remember, he knew who the first person was in a mask, right? So now who's to say he doesn't know who the second person is? It's just playing like he doesn't. And that's just really my thoughts. It's like, and it also depends on people's availability. I also think that WWE just really doesn't know right now. I think they're trying different things. It's just injury after injury. You got Seth down. You don't know if he's coming back. Will he be ready? Now Braun Breaker's down, right? The two guys that arguably, if both of them never got injured, you were looking at Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. There would be no tribal chief competing against CM Punk because CM Punk wouldn't have the belt. Because that's the piece that these injuries are really taking a toll. So it's hard to really it's hard to really have a prediction for real.
Well, the craziest part about this was the original plan, according to reports, was meant to be Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed defending the World Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins defending the World title against Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes defending the WWE title against CM Punk. So literally, this entire WrestleMania has just been torn apart. And at this point in time, I'm thinking here, would it be the worst idea to maybe say, okay, Bronson Reed, you've beaten Roman Reigns this year. He still hasn't beaten you. Seth Rollins will obviously want his world title back. He's got an issue with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Bronson Reed will they need somebody in the vision to go after Seth Rollins. They can't ignore that. So maybe a four-way if Bron Breakker's not going to be back, but I don't like that either. I mean, Jericho is being mentioned. Grayson Waller's another popular one. But Jordy, what do you think about all of this?
It's difficult because it could be different people. We know it could be different people. I think Lawrence is definitely onto something where it could be. I think the only reason that it could be Jake Paul is I don't think we're gonna see him wrestle. I think it'll just turn. I think Logan will just say that it was him or something, or like it'll just be that he was working for Logan and Logan will be the payoff match. But I entered my mind, and then very much like you said, Ben, I thought the same thing. I was like, but who do we boo? Who do we cheer in that situation? Because there's no way that the Paul brothers are getting cheered, and we shouldn't be cheering the Vision. So it's weird. I think they could be treading water and playing it safe to a little extent, and maybe if Seth's back, then then they'll pull the trigger and Seth can wrestle and they'll start building a match. But if not, I don't like that. When there's situations like this, I like it that there's 5 people who we suspect, 5 people who all have motive, who it could be. Right now, I think we're all struggling to think of somebody who has motive, and that worries me a little bit that when this pays off, it's going to be a little bit like thrown together because they never really thought it through in the first place. They just needed that moment. But I don't know. I really don't know. Hopefully, plan A is Seth and they have a decent plan B. If it's to try and turn Logan face, I think good luck.
Good luck, especially Jake Paul too. If you're bringing him in as a face, I don't know how they're going to do that.
I laughed before when you said my issue with Jake Paul is I was thinking, God, how long have you got?
Oh gosh, there's one comment here though I want to read out, right? Because Travis Calvin, very interesting theory. Waller New Day in theory teaming with Seth. I'm going to switch this up for a second, right? Because the numbers don't add up there. Take out theory. Have Waller, New Day, and Seth against Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul. Bang! Suddenly, you got yourself a 4 versus 4. You can do a proper program after WrestleMania. I don't think that's happening. I don't think
why
the
the
New Day face.
decided to turn face again?
Because why did the New Day decide to turn heel? What have they done?
I no, the heel turn itself was solid, wasn't it? It was the whole Big E situation, and it was sad. And
just the payoff is not able.
Yeah,
the payoff is not really able. The payoff is not able to really be paid, right? You're not really able to pay that debt off because Big E can't come back, right? The heel turn made sense. It's just you can't never close that story or that book because Big E can never come back and drop
come back as a manager of Orba Femi. There and you can just watch Orba just plow away through the 100%.
Yeah, so it's like the payoff is just not really there on that particular story, just unfortunately.
Yeah, right.
But I see a couple of the comments as well too, with people saying, "What if the Masked Man is Bad Bunny? Right? What if Seth Rollins potentially gets a World Heavyweight Championship rematch?" I see some comments there. I mean, the Bad Bunny situation I think it would be dope. If Bad Bunny was, obviously we know that's not him stomping right now, but if he comes through and, ultimately was the one. But even then, the Bad Bunny thing doesn't really make sense to the storyline because why was Bad Bunny going all the way to Saudi Arabia to cause, like, what did division do to him? Right now, if he directly went after Logan Paul, that's a different story, right? It just, if they sold it as this person keeps attacking Logan Paul, what's going on? So it's tough to really call. I think obviously that's what WWE wants. They want you to think, okay, tune in. That's how they get you to tune in. Okay. You think it's this person, you think it's that person, we'll surprise you. But I think ultimately they're just testing the waters because of the lack of availability of wrestlers. There's a lot of bodies that have dropped and a lot of bodies that need some healing. So they're probably trying to figure out in the background, how can we make this thing work right now? So
yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to make things work because we've complained about the creative this year when they've been in a good position roster-wise. They're now in a struggling position, and I mean, look, sometimes when your back's against the wall, that's when you're at your best, and let's hope that's the case for this creative team. I've got to read out this comment by DCX Warlord. He is convinced it is Johnny Gargano.
Who do you think it is, Ben? Who do you think it is? Name someone now. We'll all name someone.
Who do I think it is?
Who do you think it is? We'll come back to this.
I think all the options are actually completely unrealistic. I think this is boring, and I think it is Seth Rollins. I think it is literally on the nail on the head, Seth Rollins, and I think they've made a big mistake here because I think they should have had. I think it should have been Bronson Reed or Logan Paul in this match last night, and Austin Theory couldn't have come out because he was on the toilet. Next week on Raw, Austin Theory, where were you? We know you were the masked man last time. Convenient you didn't help us. Oh, I was on the toilet.
Yeah, okay, I get you.
Suddenly it creates some tensions within the vision, and it just creates some intrigue because I think it only is going to be Rollins. I think that's the only option at this point.
And it makes sense. I mean, he's on these shows. If you're watching, he's sitting on these shows. Seth Rollins is healed. You know what I mean? He's healed. He's ready to go. If he had to go tomorrow, he'd be ready. He has a lot of time left to recover, up until WrestleMania. It's not like Seth Rollins was big as far as competing every week on Monday Night Raw. Not to say he didn't, but, this is the road to WrestleMania. You put him back. I'm sure Seth Rollins will probably return on a Monday Night Raw show. It just comes down to who he was going to face. I think they were confident that they were going to do the Seth versus Breakker match, right? But then when Breakker is now injured, they have some things. They may decide to say, hey, Seth, we're going to hold you back, right? Yeah. We'll just put a pause on you. But there's no need for us to rush you if we don't have anything really productive. That money match of Seth versus Breakker, that was going to be a money match. They may decide, hey, we're going to pause right here.
At the same time, though, they're struggling to move tickets, and Seth Rollins is a draw. But that does, guys, bring us to the end of the show. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Jordy. An absolute great show today. And thank you to everybody in the comments. We really appreciate you guys checking us out. We will be back same time, same place tomorrow, live. 45 minutes of wrestling talk. Plus, check out Good Morning Wrestling fans tomorrow morning as well here on the Wrestling Republic YouTube channel. See you guys then. Peace.